So this doesn't come about because I sat in meditation for 20 years.
Yeah.
Or this doesn't come about because I experienced some sort of kundalini awakening or some sort of energy that rocketed up through the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't come about for any reason. There is no prerequisite. There is nothing that me can do
Yeah.
or practice.
There's no peace of mind, as you were saying.
There's nobody there, love. There's actually nobody there.
Yeah.
So even the idea, I must go off and do this, or I must experience that, yeah, it's the same as I must go and visit my psychologist and chat through my shit. It's the same. Do you know what I mean? Like, it may seem or appear to be helping, yeah, but all it's ever doing is it's helping the me. But at some point, that's all got to stop, and then the real investigation has to take place. You come into a group like this and you're told there isn't a me. I remember the first time I heard that, I went, "You're crazy." What do you mean there's no me? You know. But if you're exposed to this long enough and you literally start to look for yourself, instead of grabbing this stuff as a conceptual idea, yeah, pigeonholing it with intellect and going, "Yep, I've got that, I understand that bit, now what else do I need to learn?" It's not that. Although often that's a process that we tend to go through. Yeah. I was thinking before, you know, like when Bob was talking about the seeing and the hearing, yeah, and that as soon as this pseudo self steps in and claims ownership of the seeing and the hearing, it's akin to the seeing and the hearing that we experience in our head. Now, it's really interesting. Like, are there eyes in my head? No, the eyes are here, and they seem to see out. Yeah, and I've got ears here that seem to also hear, but they hear stuff that's out here, sounds that are out here. Yet there's somehow the capacity to see thoughts in our head and hear thoughts in our head. What instrument is being used to do that with? My God, what instrument? Seriously. Is it my ears that are literally, like if I utter the word house in my mind without verbalizing it, I can hear it. Or I could say, imagine a green, close your eyes and imagine a green apple. You can see it. Is it my eyes and ears that are actually seeing that? Yeah. And it's from that, or from that conceptualized persona, that person, that's what we're seeing from. That's what Bob means when he says we're not really seeing, we're not really hearing, we're seeing through this. Yeah. Yeah. Often you hear people say when they awaken, or whatever terminology you want to put on it. Yeah. Often you'll hear people say, "My God, I saw a tree for the first time in my life."
Yeah.
Like really, saw it without seeing it with that. And we don't realise that what we're doing is that we're seeing, hearing, tasting, touching and smelling in there. We're missing this total, beautiful, absolute moment right here, right now, with the real senses wide open, not the imagined ones. And they're all imagined. You know, I can almost smell, excuse my French now, but I can almost smell, if I really go there, I can smell what shit smells like. In my head, I can. Yeah. You can experience when you're asleep at night, dreaming on your bed, yeah, body's not moving, sound asleep, in a dream, there's seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, orgasms, fear because someone's chasing you with a knife, all that stuff. And whilst we're in that, whilst the dreamed me, the dreamed character, is in that dream, it all seems real.
Yeah.
It seems totally real.
Physiological responses.
Everything. Yeah. The same thing is happening here. We just don't realise it. And that's why this is often referred to as the waking dream.
Yeah.
It's a dream. We just don't, and it's waking to that fact. And when that is absolutely seen and it drops, here you are.
And is
Where
it,
you've always been, by the way.
yeah.
Here you are.
Is the experience, and I think I'm answering it while I'm feeling it, but is the experience you can't go back to sleep?
No.
Once you've
No.
That's right, and the truth
It's not-
eats away the lie.
It would be like, I mean,
right.
You're dreaming, but you know you're dreaming.
Yeah. So you
Or-
it's a
there's not even there's not a you there dreaming,
yeah.
but you understand
That the you isn't.
that the water's not blue.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's just your five senses are working, you're operating, you're moving about,
That's right.
but there's not much buy-in.
Which is but that's incredible. See, that's what's always been happening.
Yeah.
The movement, even the movement of the body,
Yeah.
where it ends up throughout the course of the day and what it does.
Yeah.
That there's not you doing any of that. Like zero, zip, nada. But what happens is me steps in and claims ownership of it.
Naming and claiming.
I'm doing it. I'm doing this. I'm deciding to go here and so on and so forth. All of that stuff just happens anyway. So in the absolute collapse or the dropping of the personal entity that we take ourselves to be, when that drops, all the action still continues. Then you just sit in the box seat and watch it. Like really. You're just completely aware of everything that's happening. And of course, you would be aware of everything that's happening. You are that. In the absence of a me, all that's left is pure awareness or beingness or presence or whatever label we want to put on it. And again, it's just a label. Yeah.
Did you want to add something? Bob wanted to add something.
Mr. Nakarada tells you, you are dreaming a dream you call the world. He says, stop looking for ways out. The dream is not your concern. Your concern is that you love one part of the dream and not the other. He says, love all of it or none of it, and the rest will be done for you. And that's all that's ever happened throughout your life. The rest, as it's happened, has been happening for you. You've never done anything.
See, even this search that's going on, I want to get this, I want to wake up, or, I want to improve myself, or want to better myself, whatever, yeah. Okay? That's exactly the same as your dreamed character when you're asleep, when the body's laying on the bed at night, and there's a dreamed character in the dream, okay? And what it's doing is it's going to this satsang, and that satsang, and it's sitting with this teacher, and it's reading this book, and it's studying this and studying that, and so on and so forth. All because the dream character wants to wake up.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can the dream character experience what it's like when the body wakes up in the morning? Can that dream character experience being awake, literally being awake? When you wake up, I'm talking about the dream character when you're on your bed at night asleep.
Yeah.
The dream character in that dream, can it experience what it's like to be awake? What happens when you wake up in the morning?
It disappears.
Hello?
Yeah.
It's the same. So the idea
Yeah.
that this is me,
Yeah.
which is the dreamed character,
Yeah.
trying to get this,
Yeah.
whilst there's seeking, whilst there's wanting or acquiring, you stay asleep.
Or questioning.
It'll just,
Yeah.
the dream character stays in place. Totally and completely stays in place.
Yeah.
So at some point, there's a stirring, if you like,
Yeah.
that starts to happen just before you wake up in the morning. And there is.
Yes.
There's a stirring that starts to happen. And that stirring can often happen just by sitting in this room.
Yeah, very much
It
so.
can, yeah? So there's a stirring that starts to happen. Okay? And in that stirring, you start to become aware that it's a dream.
Yeah.
You start to become aware that this persona, this person that I believe myself to be, is a dream. You literally start to become aware of that. And whilst that is happening, if you just sit and watch that, really, really observe that for yourself. You have to look for yourself, okay? If you really, really start to observe that for yourself, as you start to stir and you start to awaken, if you like, from that dreamed character or from that dream, a wonderful thing happens. There's a shift, let's call it a shift of attention, okay? The attention shifts from being focused on the dream character all the time, which it has been for as long as you can remember. Instead of that happening, there's a natural shift that happens, and all of a sudden the attention shifts to the presence, the awareness. And then there's then that kind of happens for a moment, you know, and you might be encouraged to abide there, be there, be with this here-ness, be with this presence, be with this nowness. Okay? Now that sounds like I'm asking a me to do that, and I'm not. Because it's not a me that wakes up. It's not a me that wakes up. You've got to get that. Okay? What happens is the me drops. It completely collapses. Okay? And what you're left with is waking. Even this communication. I'm not talking to you. You think I'm talking to... Yeah. So that's what happens in this room. Yeah. Bob starts off with, I'm speaking to that I am that I am. Or another way of putting that is, I'm speaking to that presence that I am. There's presence here, there's presence there. That's what's being communicated to, not the me. So if you like, it's that awareness that wakes. Because it's the awareness, because it's a singularity that's responsible for everything, including the dreamed me, including the dream that happens when you're lying on your bed at night sleeping.